And so we would play in the winter leagues, and all the kids from the area, like a lot of them are playing college ball now, some are pros, whatever. We would just get together, go to Soccer Dome, play in the leagues. It was a lot of fun. And then as time went on, we started playing futsal. And so I got like 5 or 6 state cups in futsal that the boys racked up, because they just love to play. But still, the whole time, everybody's playing kind of on other teams. So I now, we have our IG and stuff that starts coming into effect. And it just built out. And it's like funny because I get direct messages from kids in all these different countries. I want to come join your team. A lot of cats from Africa want to come join us. Mm-hmm. They don't quite know that we're not a team.
Yeah.
And that you can't just come play. So they'll send me videos of them doing stuff with the ball. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. It's not, you can't just come here and start playing soccer. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it seems funny that someone would want to leave some of these countries and come here to play.
Yeah.
But I guess it looks pretty good on, because they're seeing the photos and what the kids are doing,
Yeah.
And so ultimately, time went on, I'm running into folks and they're like, you should become a club. You should do this, that, and the other. Yeah. And I never wanted that happen. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because we were able to, kind of keep the community thing going. And these kids were having fun, wasn't breaking the bank. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, what's so funny is all these kids, they really, soccer has taken them places. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so, like what I was talking about, my middle son, he plays now with a Black-owned club called Paragon. Mm-hmm. But just, kind of helping them out with things, I really see the battles like up close and personal. I see what's happening in the back room, where, someone might say, oh yeah, we have a diversity committee, but it's just a red herring. They're not really, it's not the people that are in it.
Yeah.
It's the fact that they're not being listened to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you try to join leagues and different things. And I told people, I said, listen, the reason we've been able to be successful to some degree is because no one has the power to pull anything from us. You can't keep me out of a tournament because I'm not applying for your tournament. Mm-hmm. The tournaments that they ask us to come to, we come, and the boys usually do their thing. Like, we won the America's Cup down at, Alexandria always invites us out. We bring dudes through. And just players want to play with players.
Yeah.
So when we would do what we used to call them no mercy open runs, anybody can come play. But they're just that, no mercy. You lose, you're off. And you would just see the levels just go up on these guys because they don't want to lose. And you would see what they would like on the younger players or what they would demand. Be like, yo, you just lost the ball. What are you doing walking? And Keith, again, was a big part of that because he would come down on him because Keith's a big kid and he don't like to lose either. And he would sure enough call a kid out, be like, you just lost the ball, you standing around. He would help someone. Like I remember one time he told a guy, he said, listen, how many times you gonna beat the same guy? He said, you beat him once, get going. Why would you wait for him to catch you to try to beat him again? Mm-hmm. And like you say, Keith was a big part of it. Taye and like Damien, he was a guy that would coach, like no matter, he's like, let's do a shooting and finishing clinic. Well, he felt like his boy wasn't shooting and finishing well. Well, you can train just one, or you can train a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right? We would go to the Maryland Soccerplex, and man, we'd have like 15, 20 kids. I'd grab a couple of goalkeepers, and we had to do it in there because or else you'd be chasing balls all day. Kids shoot, shoot, shoot. You know, and you know, a lot of it came from, you know, I had more time than money. You know, because people love to just pay people to do. But I was like, I gotta make sure that, you know, we got the best for our kids. So like it would be various trainers. I mean, I'm sure you know a lot of them. I mean, like Philip would work with our kids sometimes. For a while, people thought PG Youngboys meant Philip Jow Youngboys. We had to clear that up, right? And so, like, I did the administration. You know, I helped them start the soccer camp at Howard. You see what I'm saying? And ran that with him, right? Ty Hall has done stuff. John Orlando. I mean, if guys, you know, this dude, you know, the one that runs Paragon, Brandon Daniels, he worked with our man. We had under 23 team, which was all like, and we would just barnstorm. We played Motoric FC. We played FC, what is it? FC Fredericksburg. And we played about 6 or 7 games. We only lost 1. And we're bringing everything from academy kids. I mean, we were young, but we were bringing ballers.
Yeah.
And these dudes was bringing it on some of these older teams. And, you know, even Keith played with us. I got something on YouTube where Keith played with us when we, this is about 3 years ago now, you know, thought he was going to get in a fight. This other guy named Danny Butler came and played, you know. It's just like, you know, and I saw like Alex, I used to see him with Maryland United.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man, he's a good coach. I got to know him, you know, because me personally, I'm not a coach. I can scout. I mean, now people have asked me about scouting for them. I won't say the names of the organizations, but my thing was to join, to create pathways for the kids.
Yeah.
So even by being on something like this, if somebody wanted to reach out to me, so now I'm starting to know college coaches.
Yeah.
Right? Now my older boy plays college soccer, you know. But and then like I said, my middle one, he likes travel. He doesn't want to take it through the roof. And then my youngest boy plays for Columbus Crew. And he left here. He finished the 7th grade. He started 8th grade in Ohio. And, you know, people looked at us like we were crazy, but that was the pathway. You know, that was an organization that really spoke to what we were trying to do. And people were like, oh, well, why didn't you go to DC? You know, your older boy played for DC. I said, well, things changed and every club is not a fit for everyone. And like when you look at other parts of the world, you know, you go to England, there's no territories. You know, like MLS got homegrown territories. So literally, a player could never play for you. But if he signs with an MLS team, they got to pay you for his rights. You know? I mean, even down to, I did an interview with Joe Jab. And, you know, he came back from Europe, and I guess he thought he was going to go play where he wanted to play. Came to find out, they have some sort of rule that's like, that's my car. That they can get the rights on players that haven't even expressed an interest in coming here, and say if they do come here, they come to us. That's kind of, you know, that's kind of wild. But I mean, for me, it's more, you know, for young players, they have to go to the organization that's best going to develop them. Yeah. Some organizations want a certain profile of player. The DMV, and I can tell you this, I've been to the GA Cup. I'm running around. I mean, it's fantastic to have something here in Maryland because people just, they're blown away by the Maryland Soccerplex and just the way the fields is set up.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, you go to Dallas and it's a grid. I mean, the fields are all there. They're nice, but it's nothing to look at really.
Yeah.
Right? You go and you watch soccer and you go. And, you know, to see the differences and the different types of kids that are in this area. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we got kids everywhere out of this area. You know, and I sometimes put it out there like on Twitter or whatever. That's PG Youngboys if you want to follow. But you know, I always try to support the kids. I don't care if they're committing to college. I don't care what division the college is. If they're going overseas on a training stint, if they're whatever they're doing, you know, I'm gonna give them props. They don't have to be doing pro things, right? And so, to me, that's what we're trying to do is just promote these kids and give them opportunities. So, like coaches, so now coaches do call me. Hey, you know, we might come out there if you put together a nice run or whatever for the kids. And that's kind of what I wanted to do. So again, it's like, you know, and being a parent, I mean, I know you talk about, you know, talking to the parents about things. That's what I am. I'm a parent.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are in that coaching group.
Yeah.
I'm more like the person that's somewhere between worlds, because I do know a lot of coaches and they do explain to me the reasons and the purposes behind things. But I can tell you that there's a lot of coaches that do way more damage than they help. And
please speak on that. Just elaborate a little bit.
Or repeat it and then start over again.
Well, this is what I try to tell people. I said the chances of your kid becoming a pro are relatively slim, right? You can increase those odds, but still, at the end of the day, it's relatively slim. If you can find someone to coach your kid that you think is a good man or woman, I'll say or woman, you know, that's what you want. Because if they're the type of person that you wouldn't want your kid around, except for the fact that they play soccer, probably not a good coach. They might know their stuff. I mean, but there's a certain level of, you know, you got to be real. And I tell somebody, I say, look, a coach might be an ass, but he better be an equal opportunity ass. So if he acts the same way towards everyone, kids can respect it. Not what I think you should do, but I'm just saying, be fair, right? And be truthful, so that, you know, like I remember a coach telling a kid, oh yeah, I see you on the national team. Like, but yeah, coach, you won't even play the kid consistently. How's he supposed to get there if that was true? Now, we knew it wasn't true. I couldn't understand why he said it. Because you don't have to say that for a kid to want to play.
Right.
I mean, people play that don't play in the World Cup and love the game, you know? And like I said, Keith always could play ball. Damian could play ball. I believe Ty was goalkeeper. But we had stories where we put together an old boys team and played in men's league. And we were laughing about that the other night because we saw some dudes get wrecked that told us war stories. And, you know, you listen and you're like, you know, that's not true, right? You know, you weren't what you say you were. Because I don't care how old you are, there's a certain way a baller carries it, and you know, I remember I was at Soccerplex one time, and I was like, you can look down from the top, and I was watching this team practice. I try not to say names because I'm not done want to throw darts, but I will never forget the coach decided to jump in with the kids, and he could not play. And I'm like, now how do you expect these kids to respect you?
No, okay, just to be fair, right? Because we talk about this a lot, right? So at DC-11, you know, all the coaches are ballers, right? We all played at the high level, either college or pro. Okay. but is in, regularly. I mean, I even post regularly me, competing with the kids, right? Be it sprinting, juggling, dribbling or whatever it is, and we play with them.
Right.
But what we also talk about is that when we were playing, our coaches had they were not, they couldn't play. You know what I mean? Like these guys who have the beer gut up to here, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
but the thing is, at some point they may have had a history. Now
They have a touch or something. They have a touch.
but they have enough sense not to. If you get out there,
you should be.
And your kids are killing you. Now, I mean, you might be only able to go maybe 10, 15 minutes, and you're like, whoo, I'm out.
Yeah.
Now, like I knew that by age 10, 11, or 12, all of my boys had more skills than I had finishing high school.
Wow.
But I made sure that happened because at one point, like I was a personal trainer for a very long time, and even prior to having kids. But the funny thing is, I trained basketball players, pros, and some college. But the funny thing is, mostly pros, because they would come in the off season. A lot of them lived in the area.
Yeah.
And one thing I saw was that the coaching and the stuff they put around their own kids, I said, that's it.
Yeah.
You don't just get better by playing street basketball. Yeah. That will not work. You can learn things, but you need someone to kind of pull you along. So I said, well, I know I'm not that guy, but I know guys. and I, whatever it took to get them involved, I got them involved, and it helped.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it, like I said, I know that I'm not, like I said, I don't claim to be a coach. I mean, they call me Coach Moses. It's a sign of respect. And I can coach futsal. And I can, I can kind of see tactics, but no, I'm not sitting down with Pep Guardiola or even you guys, and we're gonna talk about the intricacies of anything. So y'all still got your group, okay? You guys still can sit in your circle and do what you do.
I got you. Okay, so there's so much I want to ask you. I feel like so much of it is.
Up now. I know I talked a long time.
No, it's okay.
No, it's great. It's great. We're gonna have a lot of clips.
Episodes.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit, and we're not even gonna go back as far as we normally do, but let's just go back to high school. When you're playing JV, and you're really getting into it, and then you try out for varsity and play it. During that period, did you have any football idols?
No, Pele was the only guy we knew, and it was Cosmos. Okay, I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah.
You had Pele, Giorgio Canaglia. There was a dude doing commercials, Shep Messing. He was a goalkeeper. Nobody idolizes a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
There was so it was Giorgio Canaglia, Pele. It was just a bunch of old guys that were on the Cosmos, and depending on what your race was, that was the guy you idolized.
Yeah.
There was nothing on TV. Okay, there was no soccer to watch on TV.
Oh, okay.
So if you didn't, like you said, if your people were from the old country, they came over and they, maybe they played. I don't think so. Most of them seemed kind of like they just liked the game. Probably talked about it and didn't know what they were talking about. Like a barbershop situation.
Yeah.
But again, these weren't black people because most of the black guys were into basketball and football, maybe baseball. Okay. So no, I didn't. And but I will tell you this much. The one thing that I know is that these young kids, when they're watching these other boys, those are their idols that they can touch. They can come out and play ball. Like Brandon put together like last summer we were down at RFK. Brandon Daniels.
Yeah.
And these kids would come out and they would see these boys that are in the academy and they've come home and you know, and like even down to my son, there's a coach who was really good at DC United. His name was John Bayo, incredible coach. Now he used to run training sessions. So Ramsey, he just turned 16. He would go out to the fields and he would play with RJ, who, I mean, it would be like RJ, Moses, it was RJ Moses, Jacob Green, Donovan Pines, even Russell Canals was out there. Riff and Yao, Brian Ko, and he got to train with them.
Mhm.
And they would, you know, they didn't hold nothing back. I mean, and RJ told me, he said, man, trying to take a ball from Donovan Pines, he's just huge. He's just like, yo, this dude, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these guys would play. I remember I just sent a message out to what is his name? He plays wingback now. They sent him from Minnesota. They just sent him to Minnesota. Fisher.
Okay.
Oh, what is this? Oh man,
Uh,
I'd have to look on my IG. But anyway, Jamaican cat.
Oh yeah.
He was out at Bowie. He was with DC United. He was out at Bowie one day when the boys were out there. This is like COVID, and they're kicking around doing whatever, but you kind of like, you can't really be close to people, but we all in the same family.
Yeah.
We working, and he came up and he's like, hey, can I shoot with y'all? I didn't know who he was. I was like, this guy, he kind of old to be. Well, okay. And so the boys said, yeah, come on. And so they start shooting and whatnot. And later I find out he plays for DC United. He later got traded. He was at LA, I think it was at LA Galaxy for a while, and now he's at Minnesota. He's a wingback, outside back.
yeah.
And it's just like, that's the kind of stuff
Mhm.
that you see. Like, like you got guys like Ja'Cory Hayes that are in the league. I remember Chris Adui Adsom, and like all of these dudes are out of Bowie. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's ballers just even in that little area.
Yeah.
Alexi Cerritos, he's doing his thing. I mean, now, and Kevin Paredes. See, all of these guys, they all play together. The little guys see them. So yeah, it's great to have, well, we'll just go with the one everybody know, like Messi or Cristiano or whoever that you're looking at, right?
Mhm.
Salah, Mane, you can't really touch them. You can watch them and emulate them, but there's a lot of stages in between that you can aspire to.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a picture on my Instagram of when we took the fellas out to a University of Maryland game, and it was like Moses, RJ, his kid AJ, who's now playing in Spain with a club called CD Brea. And we all took pictures with them. They were on the Maryland team. And I said, I bet you Donovan Pines never knew he'd be on the field with Moses. Because Moses was like 13 at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just creating that type of community is what makes ballers. So like when I went up to the MLS, what is it? Oh, I keep forgetting whatever this event is. The MLS Next tournament thing.
Yeah.
And I put out there, I said, yo, Ram the Baller is coming home. That's his little IG thing, right? And I saw kids around that thing that I didn't send specifically, hey, you want to come out and watch? But that game with DC United and Columbus Crew, the whole field was surrounded with coaches and people that came out just to support these boys. And that was awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's what you just got to have is, like I said, so what you guys are doing is awesome because, like, I didn't know all that stuff about Alex. I mean, what's he going to do? Walk up and start telling me? No. I'd be looking at him like, really? Okay. You're going to be carrying around his plaques. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then when later you investigate it, you're like, oh, man.
Yeah.
He was a baller.
Yeah.
And then sister was a captain at the same time. I mean, that's really sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I'm starting to learn different things like histories. Another friend of mine, his son is a very good player as well. This kid named Aaron Hurd. And I was talking to his dad, and he's talking about like coming up in like Fairfax and like, you know, Kefren Fuller with Joga and all of that. All of these people, we all interconnected.